Welcome back to the Dominate Radio Show, 93.7 FM, Lynchburg, Virginia. We have a comedic legend on the line, Tammy Pescatelli. Tammy, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I was wondering who you're speaking to as a comedic legend, because it's certainly somebody else on the line.
No, that is you. No, we are huge fans. We're very happy to have you on. How are things? Are you in New York right now?
We are in New York, yeah. And I say we, like not like I have a lot of personalities, but my family, my husband and my son.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, well, greetings from the South.
Thanks.
Nate is, actual Virginian. I am the resident upstate New York Italian. So you're from a big Italian family. Did that play a part in your? Yeah. Does that play a part in your going into comedy, or is it like, I'm assuming it's a loud Italian family?
I'm also from Cleveland, so we had to have a sense of humor, especially when it came to our sports teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, our wives are from Cleveland, and so I constantly harass their entire family about being Browns fans.
Yeah.
So, yeah, between being part of that, also I was the only girl with all boys, 11 first cousins that were all boys as well. I think, look, they could, for a while, boys and girls are exactly the same physically. I could still throw the best spiral in our family, but pretty soon they got stronger and faster, but they could never outrun my mouth. So, yeah, that kind of, I just was always a smart mouth. I was always the person with the zinger and the comebacks, and I love stand-up, so I didn't know that actually I could be a stand-up. It was the weirdest thing, and it just kind of fell upon me one day.
Yeah.
So was Last Comic Standing a turning point in your career?
I think it was a little bit like that. I mean, I had actually, by the time that had hit, 2004, was a comic for 10 years at that point, but I was the kind of comic that you'd come to see me as a headliner and no one knew who I was. I'd done one thing on television. It had been one Tonight Show. I'd done one Montreal Comedy Festival. It was all momentum, exactly what you said. And then now, like the other day, this guy opened for me and his credit was a finalist on Last Comic Standing. And, I finished 3 that year, and it was and I'm like, you were on the show? And he goes, well, no, I almost made the house. And I'm like, okay, well, then I don't even use that credit, because how am I any different than anybody else?
There seems to be a big jump. You start off, you're playing for like $30, and maybe now you're not playing, but I mean you're performing for like $30 in these hole-in-the-wall bars. There's such a big gap between that into like being on SNL or being on television or getting into acting. Is there do you think there's a big gap between no success and huge success in comedy?
It's hard to say. Everybody has their own different path. Like you mentioned SNL, that's not really even a stand-up gig for the most part. That's more of like a comedic act. Like you can't argue that Adam Sandler is one of the funniest people on the planet, but he's not a stand-up per se. You know what I mean? So it's all very different. There are some complete pure monologists, like a guy like Louis Black, for example, who would never work on a sketch show, But, again, one of the funniest guys there is. So I just think that everybody has their own path. It just kind of, sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. It's a roller coaster, especially with comedy.
Yeah.
So you recently had your own reality series called A Stand-Up Mother. Was that more stressful than it was worth, being followed by cameras all the time?
Here's what it was. I was a creator of that show, so it was a really fun thing to come up with a concept, march it to the networks, have a bidding war, actually sell it, get it on the air. All of that was great. The show that I sold in the room was the show that we sent, and they were amazing and non-intrusive, and I had a great crew because I had the power enough to know I've done enough reality. I've spoken to enough people who had, I went to the final auditions for The Talk. Sharon Osbourne gave me some tips at that point, about what to do and how not to let them in the house, not in certain rooms and things like that. So all that was amazing. But what the basis of the show is me trying to balance being a wife, a mother, and a comedian. And what would happen is that the crew would leave, And as amazing as they were, they'd leave 9, 10 o'clock at night. My son and my husband would be in bed, and I would be up cleaning or writing jokes for the gig that I had to do on the weekend. Like everybody would get off. We'd stop down production Thursday night, and Friday, Saturday, I'd fly out and do gigs, come home on Sunday, and start up Monday morning while everybody else had days off. And it was just too much for me.
Yeah, no, I could see that. And I mean, and I've actually worked in some reality TV too before I got into PR. So I mean, what were the producers like? I mean, did you have a good relationship with them? Were they trying to stage stuff?
Well, I was the executive producer, so I had a great relationship with it. So, but yeah, of course there are some people who show up, people from the network who try to go, hey, we want you to go to a sex toy show at a store, and I'm like, yeah, it's not going to happen. So find somebody else. Not here. Call the Kardashians.
Good for you. Good for you for standing up and being your actual self on the show.
Well, yeah. The thing is, I'm sorry. All I kept saying is that, I'm not saying that I'm the most famous comic in the world. I never said that, but I will say that I do have a very loyal fan base, and I can't betray those who are already fans in hopes to just grab a few more,
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. So you were part of the fashion police for U.S. Weekly. Are you big into style and fashion, or was that more of just a chance to get to...
No, I have a degree in fashion design. That's my college degree in fashion design. So, yeah, it was a different time. If Last Comic Standing would have been a few years later, I would have had a clothing brand, That's what they do now. But we were at a time that there wasn't even Facebook for anybody other than college kids.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
I hear you participated in Poker Royale, Comedians versus Pros, and you made it to the finals even. I can't imagine luck gets you that far. Are you really that good?
No, that was just pure bluffing. When you play with somebody else's money, it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of fun. But there's been so much, like I have an hour special that we're getting ready to film coming up here in May. That's really exciting for me. And, I do almost all of those. I'm a regular on all those TV Guide talking head shows, so that kind of keeps me up and forward a little bit. But this special is really exciting to me. I've never had an hour special before.
Cool. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Now, what was your family like? I mean, I know you come, like you said, the big Italian family. Now, have you ever dated outside of your race, or was it just bringing home Guidos, or?
No, never. I didn't even want to date an Italian boy because I wasn't the traditional woman, I'm not hairy enough. So no, I wasn't. I did not want to do that. And Guidos is such a horrible term. It is such a complete insult. I don't understand how MTV got away with that, because growing up my entire life, where my grandparents didn't even speak English, I grew up in that kind of community, we never said that. Never, ever, 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 ever. So it was actually an insult. If someone said that to you, you would fight. It was really the equivalent. And if you ask a lot of people who are pure Italian, it really is like the equivalent of the N-word. I just don't know how they got away with it.
Now, do you find that offensive? I know that's the same thing. Now, I grew up in the same Italian neighborhood. Not quite as, maybe like third generation, but it's, we would joke around and be like, oh, greaseball or something like that. And then like the older people would just get so mad at us, and like if you said a wop or something, it's like, hey.
Well, it's one thing if you are, you have but when you got that little snooky who's Chilean walking around saying it every other word, I don't think that's really cool.
That's right.
So what are you working on right now?
I'm writing a book. Just getting ready for a special is so completely time consuming, because don't forget, I'm out every weekend. Same reason like you were able to see me. That I was coming to your area. Every weekend I'm out somewhere and just getting ready for this special, and I'm writing a book called Menage a Mom. It's my life, because I do this whole bit called What the Hell is Wrong with You in my act, where I just teach people how to find the funny every day, because bad stuff happens. So between writing the book and getting ready for the special and just having life, that's enough. Now I head out to L.A. this week. I have a great a couple days taping for TV Guide for those talking head shows. And then I'm meeting with Ryan Seacrest Productions on Friday. So hopefully that goes well, and we'll see what happens. I got a couple things in the hopper.
Okay, cool. Is the book geared more towards women, or is it for everybody?
It's for everybody. It's just a common sense thing. I'm just a straightforward, sarcastic, no holds bar type girl, and it just happened to be that I wrote it was just an extended blog one day that went viral, and it from a page of 8,000 people where I intended it to be seen, it went to a viewership of 1.6 million people in a course of a week. So it was just amazing, and that kind of sparked a whole thing with me kind of being like a modern-day Andy Rooney, if you will.
Wow. Yeah. Now, okay, so we're celebrity publicists, and, we love to talk about PR. We do a lot of tips, and we talk, a lot of, entertainers, actors, and business people. So what do you view as the importance of PR? Is that something that you're very serious about, or, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I just think that, it's hard because once you have something on the Internet, people find, like, Wikipedia is the worst. Because people can go in and write anything they want. I once won the Bud Light Ladies of Laughter, but periodically I'll check into Wikipedia and it looks like I won the Bud Light Ladies of Lather. And no matter how much I try to submit an updated resume or something like that, like you just can't, you can't fix it. So I think it's, and I have all these great video clips on my page, but if you go to Google me and the images, there are videos, like 3 of them come up. So I think you just have to kind of remember that. There's a clip of me. My son turns 5 next month. There's a clip of me pregnant on stage, and it's just like, wow, I must have the gestation of an elephant. People are like, oh, how many kids do you have? You're always pregnant. I'm like, this was just one time, and
Yeah, well, let us know. We can work that stuff out. Yeah, you just let us know. We can take care of that stuff.
Yeah, you think I've had different publicists try to. It happens and it goes down for a while and then it comes back up because that's just how the Internet is. That is the key. People have to not believe every single thing they see on the Internet.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's tough to be under that microscope all the time. It's just like you're just trying to be normal. A lot of times, entertainers don't even take themselves that seriously, and then the fans get this image where it's like, wait a minute, like I'm just
look, I am a comic. If I say something on my webpage or on my Facebook or my Twitter, odds are 99.5% I'm trying to be funny. You may not think it's funny, I don't know, but most people want to dissect it and have a dissertation, and it's a joke, dummy. Just let it go. If you don't agree, fine, unfriend me. I don't care. You don't have to like me. I'm not pandering to the masses.
So your tour is called Finding the Funny. You're coming to the Richmond Funny Bone January 30th through February 2nd. How's the tour been going so far?
Good. Well, the thing is that comics aren't like musicians where it's a linear tour, like it's 17 dates and blah. And so this is something that just we go, we come back, we go this way, we go do a corporate, we go do a college, so this is going to just be part. Finding the Funny is going to be part of my act until at least I film the special and probably a year afterwards, and then. But I've been doing it for a long time, 18 years, so things really are nice, and I'm happy to come to the Richmond Funny Bone. I haven't been there. I don't know if I've ever been there, to be perfectly honest with you. And if I have, it was a long time ago, and I don't remember.
Oh, you're going to love it. It's a great venue. Okay, last thing we do is, so Nate's last name is Fouts. We call this Fouts Fast 5. You throw 5 random questions at you. And
okay.
Nate?
All right. Least favorite ethnicity?
Kiwis.
All right.
I do like them, but there aren't a lot of them, so I won't have a huge amount of retaliation.
Yeah. It's not a big part of your fan base. Nate?
Have you ever worn culottes?
Yes.
If you had to choose, would you rather have a man with a jerry curl or a rat tail?
Lice and shave it all off. I guess a rat tail.
Who's your favorite mob boss?
My father.
Jersey Shore or Pauly Shore?
Always Pauly. He's our friend.
Pauly. That is very cool. Tammy Pescatelli, she's going to be at the Richmond Funny Bone January 30th through February 2nd. Please check her out. Tammy, thank you so much for being on the show.
My pleasure. Certainly appreciate it. Thank you for all your help. I greatly appreciate it. Bye-bye.